Okay, in this lesson I want to talk about dominant and recessive genes and Punnett squares, okay? Now, Mendel discovered that the traits that he observed exist in two different forms, okay? So traits come in two different forms. One of them is called the strong form, and it's called a dominant gene, right? Dominant. So you can think of dominant as strong, right? Someone who's dominant usually means they're strong. Second is the weak form. Okay, think of it as the opposite of strong, and it's called a recessive gene. If you've got a strong form, you've got a dominant gene. If you've got a weak form, you've got a recessive gene. Now, traits, the trait for being tall in P's is called dominant. Okay, you can think of this as an analogy of, think of this in terms of an analogy. So if you're tall, usually strong. If you're short, not so strong. So trait for being tall in P's is dominant. Trait for being, let me get a bit sloppy here, sorry about that, for being short in P's is called recessive. And as I mentioned before, if parents in the first actually no, I won't talk about that. I want to show, so before I mentioned, if you've got, say, a tall parent, let's say, and a short parent, they reproduce, and they give the following offspring. They give a tall offspring, another tall offspring, another tall one, and a short one. Okay, what's the ratio of tall to short in this case? So ratio of tall to short in this case. Okay, ratio means tall divided by short, okay? So how many tall are there? Well, there's 3. How many shorts are there? There's 1. So 3 to 1. Sorry, this should be like, it's basically the same thing as saying tall dot short. It's a ratio, it's a division. So 3 to 1, right? There's 3 tall and 1 short. That's what it means. Now, there's actually an easier way to show this using something called a Punnett Square. And it's very important that you know how to use these Punnett squares, okay? They're all over biology. Okay, easy way is by using a Punnett square. Here's how it looks like. Okay, it can be used to predict the results of reproducing between organisms, different organisms, right? So used to predict results of reproducing between different organisms. Okay, this can apply for humans, for peas, doesn't really matter. But it applies to everything pretty much. So let's say you've got a tall parent and a short parent. Okay, they're reproducing. Tall, we can represent it as capital T, right? Think of them as chromosomes. To be tall, you have to have the chromosomes being the same, right? You can't be one tall, one short, right? So T, capital T for tall, it's got to have 2 of them. And short, we represent it with a lowercase t. So 2 short t's to make a big T, right? Here's a Punnett square diagram. So let's start off with, let's say this guy's the dad, this one's the mum. The tall, so we have 1 chromosome, 2 chromosomes, the 2 t's. The mum is here, and we draw basically Punnett square. This is a Punnett square. Okay, so the dad's at the top, mum's at the bottom. Now, what's T times T? You can think of it as times. What's capital T times small t? Well, that's just big T times small t. What's big T times small t? That's another big T times small t. What's big T times small t? Big T times small t. Big times small, big times small. And that's how you work it out, right? That's how you work out the offspring. So therefore, we can say that all offsprings, in this case, are capital T, small t, tall. Okay, it doesn't matter what this is, it's just an arbitrary notation. Okay, so they're all capital T, small t in terms of height. Okay, and that's all it is, a Punnett square. Let's do another example. Let me have, what if both parents were a mix, okay, medium height? Let's say one of them was capital T, small t, and the mum was capital T, small t. Let's draw a Punnett square. Remember the dad, put it at the top, mum put it on the side. You draw a box separating the two. Capital T times capital T. This is that. Okay, sorry, continuing on. I think I had a bit of a technical glitch. So let's say we have capital T, small t for one dad, for a dad, capital T, small t for a mum. I'm just filling out the Punnett square, so capital T, that's what you get with two T's, and another capital T. Okay, so capital T, and then what's a T and a big T and a small t make? Well, that makes a big T and a small t. What's a small t and a big T make? Small t, big T. What's a small t and a small t make? That makes two small t's, right? And so basically so you get one of the offspring is tall, one of the offspring's short, and the rest are medium, right? And I should also mention some new terminology. When you have two capital T's, so when the chromosomes are the same, right, the tall traits, this is known as homozygous. Homo is in the same, right? They're the same, capital T's. So both alleles are the same. Okay? Alleles, these are alleles, they're both the same. If you have this, big T, small t, this is called heterozygous. Heterozygous. Hetero means different. This is when both alleles are different. Okay, so homozygous, the same, heterozygous, different. I should also mention genotype. Okay, so the different combinations of parents' genes, right? So as I showed you before in the Punnett squares, you get different combinations, different offsprings. And the parents' genes are called genotypes. That's another word you should familiarize yourself with. Genotypes of the plant or the whatever it is, right? Genotypes. And as I mentioned, the possible genotypes of pea pods, right? The pea plants, remember? Capital T, big T, small t, and two small t's, right? This is homozygous, this is heterozygous, and this is homozygous. Okay? Now, the appearance that's produced by a genotype, okay, the appearance of an organism is called the phenotype. So the appearance produced by a genotype, okay, a possibility, right, an offspring, is called appearance produced by a genotype is called the phenotype of the organism. Okay. And dominant genes, I should mention, are denoted by capital letters. Okay. So example, if we have this is the dominant gene. Remember, capital T for tall. And the little one for recessive. The little lowercase one is a recessive gene. And that's it.